In a quaint village nestled between towering mountains, the legend of a magic bell had long been whispered among the townsfolk. This bell, it was said, could grant the most heartfelt wish of the pure-hearted. However, none had ever found it, and it remained but a tale to recount by the fireside. Amongst the villagers was a kind-hearted young girl named Alara. She lived with her grandmother and tended to her small flower garden with great care. Alara often dreamt about finding the magic bell, not for herself, but to wish for the prosperity and happiness of her entire village, which had faced many hardships. One crisp autumn morning, while gathering wildflowers in the forest, Alara stumbled upon an old, overgrown path she had never noticed before. Curiosity piqued, she followed the path, which eventually led to a moss-covered, ancient bell tower hidden deep in the woods. The tower looked as though it had been forgotten by time itself. Excitement and trepidation filled Alara as she ascended the spiral staircase within. At the top, she found an ornate brass bell embellished with mysterious, glowing runes. Taking a deep breath, Alara rang the bell, its sound resonating through the mountains. In that very moment, a gentle voice echoed around her, asking what her heart truly desired. Alara, with unwavering sincerity, wished for her village to thrive, for bountiful harvests, health, and peace for all. The voice acknowledged her wish, and with a radiant flash, she was transported back to the edge of the forest. To her astonishment, the village began to transform as if touched by magic. Crops that were once withering sprang to life, and a sense of joy and vigor revitalized the villagers. They celebrated the newfound prosperity, unaware of Alara's brave journey. When asked about the changes, Alara simply smiled and tended to her blooming flowers. She knew the magic bell's power, but more importantly, she knew that true magic lay within the kindness and selflessness of one's heart. The legend of the magic bell continued to be told, but now with a new chapter, one that spoke of a girl's pure wish that changed an entire village, proving that the greatest magic of all is the goodness within. In a peaceful village nestled by the riverside, life was serene for its inhabitants. Children played in the fields, elders shared stories by the bonfire, and everyone lived in harmony with nature. However, this tranquility was soon to be shattered by an unexpected calamity. One bright morning, dark clouds began to gather over the village. The elders, with their wisdom, sensed something was wrong. The river, usually calm, started to rise ominously. The villagers, though alarmed, did not anticipate the severity of the situation. They believed the rains would stop soon. The children, curious and a bit frightened, watched the river from a safe distance. Among them was Maya, a brave and inquisitive girl of 10. As the rain persisted, the river began to overflow, flooding the fields and entering the homes. Panic set in as the water level rose rapidly. The village leaders decided to evacuate everyone to higher ground. Families gathered their most treasured possessions and hurriedly made their way to safety. Young and old helped each other, showing remarkable resilience and unity in the face of adversity. Maya and her friends, though scared, tried to help as much as they could. The floodwaters continued to rise, submerging the village. The people watched helplessly as their homes and fields were engulfed by the relentless waters. For days, they stayed on higher ground, surviving on whatever food and supplies they had managed to bring with them. The children, despite the grim situation, found solace in each other's company. They listened to stories told by the elders, learning about past struggles and the strength of their community. Maya, with her adventurous spirit, often led her friends in games to lift their spirits. After what felt like an eternity, the rains finally stopped and the floodwaters began to recede. The villagers returned to find their homes damaged and their fields ruined. It was a heartbreaking sight, yet they did not despair. With resilience and determination, they began to rebuild their village. Maya and her friends helped by clearing debris and planting new crops. The community's unity and strength shone brightly as they worked together, determined to restore their beloved village. The great flood had tested their spirit, but it also brought them closer together. In time, the village flourished once more, and the children, now a bit wiser, played by the riverside again. The story of the flood became a tale of courage and unity, passed down through generations as a testament to the village's indomitable spirit. Once upon a time, in the colorful land of Byranawala, which was famous for its lush green fields and sparkling streams, lived a young boy named Samir. Samir was known throughout the village for his kind heart and captivating smile. He was always eager to help anyone in need, whether it was an old grandmother trying to carry her groceries or a little bird with a broken wing. In the village, there was also a wise old owl named Ollie, who lived in a huge willow tree. Ollie was the guardian of the ancient wisdom of the land and often shared stories with the children at sunset. One day, Ollie told a tale about a hidden treasure in the Heartwood Forest, a mysterious place on the outskirts of Byranawala. The catch was that only the purest of heart could find this treasure. This story filled Samir's heart with excitement. Not for the treasure, he thought, but for the adventure. With a small bag packed with sandwiches and his trusty lantern, Samir set off for the Heartwood Forest. The forest was more magical than Samir had ever imagined, with sparkling dewdrops and a symphony of chirping birds. As he walked deeper into the forest, he stumbled upon a weeping willow, which had tangled roots and appeared to be distressed. Samir stopped and gently untangled the roots. To his surprise, the tree spoke in a gentle, whispery voice. "Thank you, young traveler. You have shown great kindness. Your journey lies ahead." With renewed hope, Samir continued until he found a glistening pond. There, he noticed a sad little fish stuck between rocks. Without hesitation, Samir carefully freed the fish, who swam joyful circles around him. As the fish leapt with sparkle in its eyes, it too whispered, "Kindness leads to the treasure of happiness." Finally, as dusk began to fall, Samir arrived at a clearing where stood a humble chest, enveloped in shimmering light. He opened it, only to find a mirror. Confused, Samir looked into it and saw not just his own reflection, but the faces of everyone he had helped, smiling back at him. "This is your treasure, Samir," spoke the familiar voice of Ali, who had appeared behind him without a sound. "The love and kindness you have spread throughout the land are more valuable than gold. Remember, the true treasure lies not in what you possess, but in what you give." And from that day on, Samir continued to make the world a brighter place, one kind act at a time. The village of Byranawala thrived, and every child grew up learning the importance of a kind heart, thanks to the selfless nature of a boy named Samir. And as for Samir, he discovered that his joy was enriched not by seeking treasure, but by being one. Once upon a time, in a little village surrounded by rolling hills and vibrant fields, there lived a curious kitten named Whiskers. Whiskers had the fluffiest tail and the most sparkling eyes, always filled with dreams of adventure beyond the village borders. Every day, he stared at the hills and wondered what lay beyond them. One day, I'll go on a grand adventure, he would declare, his tiny paws tapping eagerly. Now, in this village lived a wise old owl named Oliver. Oliver had traveled far and wide and knew the secrets of the forest, the whispers of the wind, and the songs of the river. Seeing Whisker's excitement, Oliver perched beside him and said, "Curiosity is a beautiful thing, young Whiskers, but adventures can be challenging." Whiskers puffed out his chest. "I'm ready for challenges. I'll never give up." He twirled around in determination, making Oliver chuckle softly. One sunny morning, Whiskers decided that it was time to set off on his grand adventure. He packed a small sack with his favorite snacks, a tiny blanket, and a shiny pebble for luck. With a deep breath and a brave heart, he stepped beyond the village gates. The path was not easy. It twisted and turned through dense forests and across babbling brooks. Whiskers met many creatures along the way. There was Benny, the bouncy rabbit, who taught him how to find hidden paths, and Tilly, the turtle, who showed him the value of patience. Sometimes the journey was tough. Thunderstorms rumbled in the skies, filling the air with booming roars. Whiskers shivered under wet leaves, but he remembered Oliver's words about challenges. With each drop of rain, he whispered to himself, "I'll never give up," and soon the storm would pass. Days turned into weeks, and Whiskers grew stronger and wiser. But there were moments when he felt lost and lonely, wondering if he'd ever see his cozy village again. It was during one of these moments that he stumbled upon a hidden valley filled with the most beautiful flowers. It was like a secret garden, untouched by time. In the heart of this valley, Whiskers discovered an ancient tree with a door carved into its trunk. Curiosity sparked in his eyes, and as he pushed open the door, he found himself in a room filled with books and maps of the world. By a crackling fire sat an elder cat known as Sage. Sage nodded knowingly. "I've been expecting you, young traveler. It takes courage to seek out the unknown and kindness to embrace it." Sage shared stories of far-off lands and magical creatures, inspiring Whiskers even more. Whiskers realized that his adventure wasn't just about reaching a destination, but about the journey itself, all the friends he made, and all the lessons he learned. Sage gifted him a special map, one that would always guide him home. With newfound wisdom, Whiskers decided it was time to return to his beloved village. As he journeyed back, he carried the heart of a true adventurer, never giving up and always believing in the magic of dreams. When he finally returned, the village celebrated the tales of his courage, and Whiskers knew that adventure and dreams always lived on, so long as one never gave up. In the bustling town of Tick-Tockville, where the sun danced merrily in the sky, lived a young mouse named Timmy Timewatch. Timmy was not your ordinary mouse. He had a peculiar fascination with time. His tiny room was filled with clocks and watches of every kind, each ticking harmoniously, marking the minutes and seconds that Timmy cherished so dearly. Timmy had a best friend, a cheerfully lazy turtle named Tina Slowly. Tina loved to nap under the sun and believed that time was an endless supply. "Why rush, Timmy?" she'd often say, stretching her legs leisurely. "We got all the time in the world." But Timmy knew better. His wise old grandpa Tick had once told him, "Time is not something you can get back, young Timmy. Every tick and every tock is a moment to cherish." One sparkling morning, their teacher, Miss Clockwise, announced the grand annual Tick-Tockville talent show. The winner would receive a magical hourglass that granted the user an extra hour in their day. Timmy's eyes widened with excitement. With that hourglass, he could fix all the watches in town before sunset. He urged Tina to join him in preparing an amazing act, but Tina, accustomed to taking things slow, shrugged it off. "There's plenty of time," she yawned. Determined, Timmy practiced his act diligently, perfecting a dazzling display of clockwork tricks. Meanwhile, Tina dozed under her favorite tree, dreaming of Turtle's races she always won in her dreams. The day of the talent show arrived, and the town square buzzed with excitement. Timmy, confident in his preparations, was ready. He looked around for Tina, but she was nowhere to be found. When her name was called, Tina panicked, realizing she had wasted too much time napping. She hurried to the stage, but her lack of practice showed. Despite her stumbles, the audience cheered her effort. Then it was Timmy's turn. He leapt onto the stage, his tricks flowing seamlessly, a beautiful symphony of clicks and tick-tocks that mesmerized everyone. The crowd erupted into applause, and Timmy was awarded the magical hourglass. As Tina congratulated Timmy, she sighed, "I wish I'd used my time wisely." Timmy smiled. "Time is precious," he said kindly. "But there's always the next show. Let's start practicing together tomorrow." From that day on, the clock tower in Tick-Tockville not only marked the hours, but also reminded everyone of the invaluable gift of time. Timmy and Tina became a dynamic duo, combining speed and patience to create wonderful performances, always remembering the lesson they learned. And so, the ticking of the clocks resonated not just in their town, but in their hearts too, teaching them to value every moment and make the most of the time given. In Tick-Tockville, time was not just measured by clocks, but by memories made and opportunities seized.